Thanks for joining us on the NRT Now podcast, part of the largest Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com. Sit back and relax as we chat with your favorite artists, introduce you to new artists, and more. Now here's your host, Jake.
So it is that time of year again. The We Loves are coming around. The nominees are announced. It's time to vote and vote a lot. So we are joined here with Kevin and Crystal. Kevin is, of course, our founder, president, and all-around nice guy here at NRT. And we got Crystal from Visible Music College. So happy to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Hello.
I will use that introduction for you every time, Kevin. And Crystal, I'm working on something good here. Like, I just met you this last year in February, so I need a little bit more time.
I thought it was really good, Jake. You did a good job.
You did awesome.
We started on a bad foot, didn't we?
No, never.
No, not at all.
No, this is it. We're excited to be back. And you've had a really big year with the podcast. So last time we talked, you were probably in episode, 20s?
I don't think even. It might have been in the late teens.
All right. So now you're pushing 60 almost. So congrats on the really cool year. You've done a really good job, and I've enjoyed listening to all your conversations with all the artists. And man, you've had some great guests. Nothing compares to now and this week with us, but it's all up.
We are a pretty big deal, I have to admit.
Everything was gearing up. I talked with all the artists for the past year, just getting ready for this moment, just for the pinnacle of episodes for the year. So
it's good. I mean, we'll see if the training paid off.
Yeah. Well, we're not here to talk about the podcast. We're here to talk about the We Loves, and the nominations are open. Before we get to the nominations, last year was amazing. It was our biggest event so far. How many total votes did we have for all the artists?
We pushed almost 30,000 votes, which was insane. We had a really good year, and also probably one of the most fun, exciting live events that we've had. But yeah, year number 9 is crazy. Excited to be back with Visible Music College. Just what a great partner, and creatively, and the space that they bring, it just really brings some good momentum to what we're doing.
So last year it was hosted at Visible Music College, and I was able to actually attend and see all the inner workings, tour the college, get chased around by Crystal once or twice for probably breaking some rule. I don't know what.
No. I chase everybody around once we get on campus. Like, hey, do that, pick up that, smile, be nice.
But she's a nice barker. I mean, you feel loved as you're barked at.
It's the mom tone. It's like, right. I love you, magical human, but if you don't do that, I will stop your heart.
No, she did not say I brought you into this world and I can take you out. That doesn't apply to the rest of us. So we got the easy version.
That's true.
Man, it was an incredible event. We had how many people able to attend it live? 150, give or take?
Yeah, about 150, 200. We packed out that auditorium that we're in at Visible. I mean, there was standing room only.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was a blast. And we had quite a few online as well. Was it this year that we introduced the medleys for all the categories? Or did that happen last year as well?
We've actually been doing that for a good 5 years in different forms. It's something that we introduced a while ago, and I've always challenged artists to adopt that vision of performing other artists' songs, but they're always so gracious to do it. And I really think it creates some exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else with the We Love Awards.
One of the things I want to touch on real quick, Darren with We Are Messengers, Darren and We Are Messengers, I should say, did a video medley. They weren't able to be there, but they recorded theirs. And so in a Zoom chat a few weeks later with WayFM, I think is what it was, where I was able to ask Darren about that. It was with a bunch of kids, and somebody had to ask an adult question because nobody was asking questions. So Of course I pulled it to his video for the We Love Awards. And the answer that he gave was pretty awesome. He was talking about just celebrating other people's music and just being able to celebrate music as a whole. And it impacts him just as much as it impacts the rest of us. And he just had an absolute blast being able to celebrate and to perform other people's music alongside his own. So that was a really cool perspective to hear from Darren himself.
It's fun when you learn Christian artists are fans of other Christian music. I mean, that makes sense. It's fun to get them out of themselves a little bit and into the more, into the more universal world of what we all do as fans. It's very cool to be on the same plane with them.
Let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room with the We Love Awards. This past February it was one of the last live events that I went to. It was that, and then Winter Jam was the weekend after I got home from the We Loves, and that was right before everything hit the brakes. We still have rubber on the pavement from where we hit the brakes and locked them up. And now we're in kind of this weird season. But the thing that's awesome about the We Love Awards is even through that, we've had so much great music come through this year. That is something that we can still really celebrate, even though the whole thing has looked completely different throughout this year.
Yeah, last year, Crystal, we were laughing. Well, not laughing. We were just like mind blown that we even were able to do the event and COVID wasn't on any of our minds. It wasn't even a blip on the radar. And literally weeks after, everything just shut down fast.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. I just felt, I don't know if blessed is the right word, but just thankful. I guess that would be the right word. Thankful that we were able to do that event, because afterwards, everything just got canceled. Plans just got totally eradicated. Artists got grounded. And so it was awesome to be able to do that, Crystal.
It was. And I felt like when you and I started to communicate about that fact that it wasn't even on our radar, I felt covered. I felt like God covered us. It was like, hey, I still need this to happen. The heart behind We Love Awards and the heart behind Visible Music College and the artists that we really champion and partner with, it's just rightly aligned with why people should be in music and why it's important for us to share Christian music. And so I felt like the politics of the music industry just don't really play a role in this show at all. It's fan-based. It's kind of for the love of music. And I love that so much. And it's why we continue to champion it, because it's not just about money. It's not just about fame. It's not about who's who or anything like that. The core of it is to share the gospel with people through the universal language, which is music. And it's so easy for us to get behind that. And so I did feel like just covered because we do it for the right reasons, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I just kind of rejoiced in that after it was over. Not that others don't, but, I think that's one of the unique things of the We Love Awards, that it's fan-based and it's for the right reason.
Yes.
What was crazy about that, we had a whole podcast series from the guests that were performing that night. And when I published the Wild Harbors episode, the perspective that they shared was this was our last in-person conversation that we've had pre-COVID. And that reality just hit hard when that came through, because we didn't think about those kind of things until they were brought up.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, really right now, I feel like a lot of really cool, creative music has occurred. Kevin, I think I read an article of yours recently that was kind of touching on that same point, that even though we have been kind of at home and everything has stopped in the way it normally goes, creative life has still continued. It's just kind of pivoted in a new direction. And it's been exciting to watch things come out. Even the college, the record label that we have at the college, we've never been busier releasing music. So while, it does seem like there's a lot of just crazy end of days stuff going on, like music is still happening. And that is so awesome to me. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hope injected. Music has been that constant, at least for me, in this space. While everything is being chaotic and uprooted and changed, there's been so much music that has hit this year. I'm excited to be able to celebrate all that again. And these lyrics have come alive and they just speak into spaces that when the artist wrote them, they didn't even know this space would exist. And here they are. I think God knew all this, and we know God has known all this. And it just takes those constant reminders to fall back in his arms and be still. And music has done that for me time and time again this year. And all this music really speaks to that.
Yeah. And you touched on that, Kevin. A lot of the artists that released music earlier in the whole pandemic, those albums were already in the works. Those songs were already written. They were just waiting to hit the press. And like I said, we had no idea that it was going to come to this. On the flip side, we now have a bunch of artists who, because of the quarantine and they've had more time at home, have been able to not rush albums. Not only do they have more time to sit and think and work on it, but they're not trying to fit it in around tour, or I have X amount of days in the studio before, I've got to get back on the road. So we have quite the mix of music that's come out this year, throughout this last 8 months, especially, that has a good combination of the both. And some of it that talks specifically to just all the crazy and the fear and everything that's happening in our world throughout this whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the biggest songs of the year have come out of this space. I mean, you think of The Blessing was written in this time, and Rattle, Elevation Worship released Rattle and performed it to a totally empty church. Mm-hmm. And then that has become one of their biggest songs in their catalog. Lincoln Brewster wrote While I Wait, and then released a quarantine version, which just is just such a beautiful song in the space. So there's a lot of artists who have reached creative heights during this time, yet, acknowledging that they have had probably one of the roughest financial years behind them. The bigger artists are doing okay with some of the drive-in shows and just ways they've been able to adapt. But 90% of artists have had a struggling year financially because they can't tour, which is where the majority of their income comes from. But yet they're still pouring creatively in and finding a way like the rest of us. And so there's a lot to celebrate this year. One of the biggest years of nominees this year. We have 74 artists nominated total. So just widespread of artists in every single genre. Released a ton of music. It's been a good year.
And I remember through the process of trying to narrow down to just 5 nominees per category, it was just insane. Some of the list, they had 15 that we had to select through. Some of them were a little bit leaner. Like, I think Female Artist of the Year is always one that's a stretch to get a ton of nominees in. But some of them were just miles long. And I think a few of them came down to a coin flip, at least from our internal discussions.
Yeah, it's always a process. You're dealing with opinions and personal tastes, but also we collect a lot of data. YouTube and Spotify and social media plays is how we determine the nominees in each category internally. It's a little bit of a process to get through, but I really sit down and pray. I'm like, God, will you come through? Will you come through and nominate who you want and who you want to shine light to? And may this not be our own personal playlist. And so there's a lot of nominees that I personally don't listen to, but I know that they have been huge impact to the community at large. And so this isn't a tastemakers list. I think we've got a really good group of people on staff who listen to a lot of music, compare a lot of data, and somehow we make it happen and come up with this list. And then now it's up to everybody to choose the winners. It's fan voted.
It definitely is not a taste curated list because The Blessing is nominated like 8,000 times throughout this whole thing, which was a funny internal debate with, a few of us of like, let's give it 1, but let's not let this overtake. I mean, it's just personal taste. It was. And it's just, personal tastes. But yes, I mean, the data and the Spotify plays and all that really are what drives a lot of the nominations.
And we really celebrate nominations at We Love Awards. If you've been around the We Love space any length of time, you know that, we build towards a winner. That's kind of what award shows do. And we celebrate the winners, yes, but we really try to put focus on the nominees. And we really try to encourage people, don't vote for just a name. Really spend some time exploring these and discovering all this great music. And I guarantee if you spend 5 minutes with their list, you will find a new artist that you'll love and appreciate, which I think that's the biggest win of We Love Awards is music discovery.
And I'm looking down through this, and myself, I'm trying to figure out who some of these people are. So I'm excited for the playlist and to listen to all the nominees that are coming through.
I always feel very old when I see the list. Like, I need to do some research because, I've never heard of that person. Then, of course, I'm the next biggest fan of those people. Like for last year, something for me personally that I really appreciate is a person who is not only well known, but also when you meet them in real life, they are amazing as people. And Meredith Andrews was amazing last year. And I've really enjoyed following her after meeting her.
She was our host.
She was our host last year. And so that was really fun to see that with, I would say a majority of our nominees are that way, especially the people that come to Memphis to play. So that's been such a treat for me to watch that and become actual fans, like the Cashmans as well. I've been loving following them this year. I love that part of it.
And you touched on exactly why I love this podcast. And I'm going through some of these nominees, and I've just gotten the chance to talk with, quite a few of the people on this list. And that's really what strikes me and what really excites me about this podcast is just hearing the people behind the music, the people behind the artist and their stories and just who they are. So I'm glad that you touched on that because that's one of the best things that I love about Christian music and why I love celebrating the excellence therein.
Yeah, no, it really is what makes Christian music different because so many artists are, in the mainstream are just writing pop nonsense. I mean, really, it's about the beat. The lyrics are just nonsense. You can't sit down and talk 30 minutes about the latest pop song. There's no meat behind it. It's just, this is fun. We're here to party and have a good time. And the beat was cool. And now we're done. And so I just think it's really neat to be part of this industry and hear about these stories because they're rooted in real life. They're rooted in scripture and biblical knowledge. And it's just really awesome to hear the stories behind them.
Well, exactly, Kevin. And kind of what we were talking about before we got going here is that I always have this sense of hope when I'm engaged with Christian music. It can be real life. It can be hard real life. But I feel that there is a message of hope that continues through this industry, which is it's needed at any time, really. But we're in a really unprecedented season. And for people to have some resource to turn to when they're feeling lonely, when they're feeling abandoned, when they're feeling fearful. All of the content that is expressed in Christian music just really brings a light to that, and that our hope is not in the things of this world because they will fail us, and we know that they do, but our hope is in the Lord and that He is so consistent and timeless, and fear is not a part of Him. It's like, fear not, worry for nothing is what the word says. And I feel like people are so open to hearing that right now in this season more than ever before. I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of people giving their life to the Lord right now and coming back to the Lord. And so it's neat. It's really special to be a part of that.
So Crystal, at this point here, we need a very detailed analysis of each category, the likelihood of each winner in each category. I mean, just lay it on us here.
You're talking to the absolute wrong person for that. I can talk to you all day long about event details, but those specific algorithms I know not of.
All right. Well, let me help you, Crystal, because I know you're a rock fan. I know you're a rock fan.
I am.
So rock song of the year, you got Adrienne Camp, who is Jeremy's wife. She used to be in Benjamin Gate.
Awesome.
She came out with this one random rock song on the I Still Believe soundtrack.
Yep.
Jake. And it was amazing. So that's got nominated. We've got Disciple, Darkness Dies. We got Lacey Sturm, who used to be in Flyleaf, The Decree. We've got Red, who came out with a new rock album at the beginning of the year with The War We Made, and Relent, which is a brand new band on Rockfest Records, came out with Low. So if you were to choose as a fan vote, who would you vote for?
Oh my gosh.
There.
Like,
it's a smaller spotlight.
It's like the mom, like, I love them all equally, but differently. I swear to you, I would say that Disciple is just, I am so partial to them. I have seen them live so many times. And my husband has a hilarious story about driving to one of their shows. I think it was in Colorado. And so that's just like etched in my being. So I think I'd have to go with Disciple.
All right, Disciple is Jake.
Yeah.
Well, and the only reason why it's difficult for Crystal is because Skillet isn't on the list this year. So
Exactly.
So my vote is Adrian Camp. Huge Benjamin Gate fan.
Yeah.
And to hear her come back in the rock space, it was also produced by what's her name in Skillet? Help me out.
Corey Cooper.
Corey, yeah. And so it's got very much got that Ledger Skillet vibe.
Yeah.
It's just killer track. And I love that it's a total one-off. She did that and then went back to mothering and did a worship record with Jeremy.
Because she's awesome. I know. And I've been watching some of those videos that they have out. What a special couple. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of them.
Yep. So I want to root for her so that she'll do more of it.
I can get on board with that. I am not nearly educated enough in this category. I've not listened to near enough, so I will jump on that bandwagon gladly.
The category I'm excited about is brand new for 2020, and it's Quarantine Music Video of the Year.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
We started going through all the videos and just came across a handful that came out during that April-May timeframe where it was the height of everybody just going, I don't know if you remember that time. It was weird.
Yeah.
I go back to different things that just remind me. And it was like, wow, that was bizarre. Driving around town and literally it's a ghost town and no one is around, a work hour traffic. And, everybody's freaking out and no one knows what's going on. And anyway, but there were some really cool songs that came out of that time. And so we just decided, well, let's bunch them all together and we'll make this Quarantine Music Video of the Year category. So we got For King and Country Together, which was a massive song. That song was written a year ago. And they finally released to radio during this time, which was like an anthem of this year. Hillsong United did a really cool Another in the Fire. And that video, they really talk about all their plans. Joel starts the video and talks about how they're going to structure this and show the past year of what it looked like playing to 14,000 people in a stadium to going to, you can't play for anybody, taking you through that. Lincoln Brewster, we talked about that While I Wait. Matthew West had Quarantine Life, and he's kind of losing his mind in quarantine, releasing some of this music. I don't know if you've heard Gobble Gobble or seen the video, but I'm praying for Matthew West.
It's a little, it's fun.
He needs to get back on the road.
Yes. Is he a road dog? He's not good at home.
He's hilarious. And then Mercy Me, Hurry Up and Wait was my vote and my favorite. Yeah. It's just an amazing song. And then the video was just so executed so well. Bart Millard is the best actor in Christian music, in my opinion.
Wow.
So fun category.
Yeah, I really, King and Country, I don't know. They're so good. All of them are so good. I'm the worst with this. Like, I'm the participation award mom. Everyone gets an award. I don't want anyone to feel lonesome.
My husband start crying like at category 3 in the voting process. I can't do this.
No, it's true. My husband's more like competitive, and when we play board games, he's like, if you win someday, you will know that you won fairly.
Oh, wow.
But until then, I will probably win, which is so devastating for me because I was the board game winner in my home growing up. And so to transition into second place has been a little challenging. But
So sorry.
I do know, a side note, I do know that because I'm behind the scenes working with the label at the college, I know how much work goes into all of these songs and all of the artists who are just like pouring their heart out and doing so much. And all of the artists that, aren't at the level where they can get nominated for a song. It's like, I guess that's why my heart is artist development. I love that process. And I know that, everybody pouring into it is a really important thing. I think that's kind of where I struggle with the who's best and what's best. But I am excited to see how the votes turn out.
So another one that's new this year is Dance and Remix Song, because we can't ignore that category anymore. It's coming up more and more. And there was a ton of, remixes. Matthew Parker seems like he was all over the place doing remixes. Rehab did a few of them, one with For King Country as well. So I'm excited to see this one. And isn't Jesus Loves Electro a retro band? Weren't they like in the 90s sometime, if I remember correctly?
I don't know much about them. That was a staff pick, but the song's killer. And so I was okay with it. Stephen, not that I have to be okay with it for it to get on there, but I was like, okay, well, that's legit. Stephen Malcolm featuring Shaggy in the Fuego remix, the Rehab remix. Oh my goodness, that song is fire. That song is so good. But we also had a couple really like pop songs in there. Cape Lions and Planet Boom aren't necessarily remix, but they're definitely in that dance electronic category. So this used to be an album category for the first 8 years of We Love Awards. And so we moved it from an album category to Song of the Year, which is really indicative of where the awards have gone the past 3 years. We used to only have like one Song of the Year category. Well, maybe a couple Song of the Year categories. But in the past 3 years, now we have 7.
Wow.
And I honestly continue to fight this desire to just make everything single driven. It's just where it's at. There's 3 or 4 songs in here from artists like Phil Wickham. He only released one song this year, and it's nominated because it's amazing. Worship Song of the Year. His album won't come out until Q2 2021. We're just in the space where we get music more often and it's stretched out, and not everything is album or EP driven. So that's where this category has landed.
One thing that I'm wondering if we're going to talk about or not is the coolest thing with Lecrae's music video and the We Love Award trophy.
Didn't nominate that video.
Yep.
You did or did not?
We did not.
No,
the We Love Awards made it into a We Love Award trophy made it into a Lecrae video. How stinking awesome is that?
I know. I love it. It's so great. Even though the song was a little anti-worldly awards, I did love that. I showed it to many people.
And it's in there. I thought it was only in there once, and then after I went back and watched it a couple times, it's in there about 4 or 5 times.
We have arrived, dude.
He smashes all the awards at the end, because the whole song is all about how I'm after God's kingdom and not the world's kingdom, and I don't want recognition. That's fine. I get it.
Totally.
But then he started smashing all the awards at the end. I'm like, dude, do not smash that. And he did not.
Know. Do you know how much that cost us?
That's right. It's at least $65 for crying out loud.
At least, gosh.
But Lecrae did get nominated in the 116 collaboration with Celebrate More. So he is a music video of the year. And he got like 5 other nominations. So.
I was going to say, him sparing that We Love Award got him 5 nominations this year, which
that's right. That should be the press release.
Oh, yeah. If he would have smashed that thing, he's out.
Sure. You're done.
Yeah. Like Kurt Franklin Dev Awards, like we aren't talking anymore.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
He has one of the highest nomination counts. Need to Breathe is at 5 as well. I'm looking through the list here, and I think those are the only 2 with 5. We have a couple with 4. Elevation's at 4 nominations.
Jordan.
Yep, Jordan Felice is.
Jordan's making We Love Award history for those fact checkers at home. He is the first artist to be nominated before his album is even available.
What?
Yeah. His album comes out December 18th. Of course, We Love Award started December 7th.
In the Thanksgiving episode with Jordan, we're trying to call it a Christmas album because he'll never release a Christmas album. just because he has such reverence for the Christmas music that he grew up with. So we're trying to
he has said that.
Yeah. In the Thanksgiving episode, he maybe never is a strong word, but he's very reluctant to do a Christmas album just because in his mind, it will never live up to what he grew up with.
Oh my gosh, what did he grow up with? I mean, is he comparing himself to Bing or what?
Nat King Cole.
I know. I mean, and in that case, yeah, you're right. You wouldn't ever.
Well, yeah, but yeah, he's releasing a Christmas record next year. I almost guarantee his label's going to hear that and like, yeah, you're going to release a Christmas record.
Watch this. Yes.
You are not in charge.
I made a huge push to try and stretch it to be a Christmas album because it's so close, but I don't think I succeeded in that new marketing campaign for the album. I don't think I have that much influence.
No.
Yeah, so what's cool about this is that there's so many different nominations. We have a few that are 3 and above nominations, but that's a small handful. There are a lot of artists that have 1 nomination, or a lot of songs that just have the 1 nomination across the board, and that's so cool to see just the breadth.
I said 74 earlier, 76 total artists nominated, and I always want to champion this. 19 independent artists are nominated. Last cycle, Dove Awards did nominate 1. It is their first independent award in, I believe, 5 years.
Oh my goodness!
And so the We Love Awards is really the only award cycle that welcomes independents to play. And how can you not celebrate the picture of Christian music without including independent artists? It's a gross overlook, in my opinion, and one that I'm thankful that we do. There are so many great independent artists out there. So yeah, 19 nominations this year from independents.
Well,
which is so huge.
Absolutely huge. And I mean, Matt Hammett is one of those. And, in that episode, he talked, or I just posed the questions like, is this what we're going to be seeing more of? Just because of the availability of being able to produce and write music and all that. And still to be determined. But like you're saying, Kevin, that's one of the amazing things, that there's so much that's independent just because of the technology that's out. I love that we're able to celebrate the independent artists.
Well, and independent does not necessarily mean, small and in their basement. I mean, Red, Planet Boom, Matt Hammett, Manic Drive was on Winter Jam, and Elevation Worship is independent. It can span all artists, but being on a label should not be a requirement for being nominated. That's ridiculous. That needs to change. That absolutely needs to change industry wide. So we're going to keep doing it and challenge everybody else to join in and do this as well.
Before we talk about a little bit about Visible, and like Crystal was talking about the mentoring, I just want to say with the We Love, it's going to be a crazy ride. There's so much good stuff here. Every year we put out a Spotify playlist just highlighting all the nominations with all this. I mean, please go take a listen to that because there's so much good stuff here that's coming out the works. Going towards the music development side, one of the things that I love getting to see about the We Loves this past few years is the partnership with Visible. And maybe it's a little bit commercial-ish, but whatever, I don't care. They're a sponsor. You got to do what you got to do, right, Kevin?
Yeah, and I mean, I would say it's not. I mean, I know you're joking, but I would really just say everything takes dollars to make happen. That's just the reality of there's people's time involved. There's hundreds of hours that have already been put into this award show. I love that we can pay people for their time in this, and Visible makes that possible. But also, I really feel like there's so much heart behind this. This is not just a partner who's absent, who's just slapping a logo on stuff. I mean, Crystal has become a good friend, and we chat throughout the entire year and celebrate the industry. And she works at a label herself, Madison Line. We talk about her artists and how we can work together. It's a true partnership that I feel God has brought and blessed. And I'm so thankful for it in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, we agree wholeheartedly with that. And what I had mentioned a little earlier is just that passion for development, for independent, for us to be about something that doesn't already exist is a huge personal passion of mine. Like when you compete with Goliath, if you will. It's hard to. So it's like, hey, let's do something a little different that not everybody's doing. And when you do that, I think it frees you up on the creative side. It also gives you the opportunity to lead and be innovative and not have to be bound by any, well, oh, this is what you do. And I think that that's what I personally love the most about We Love and the partnership there. And like Kevin has said, I mean, we've become pals and we exchange funny gifts throughout the whole year and the sanity checkpoint often. And so that's amazing. And his wife, Renee, is the dearest human on the earth. I just adore her so much. And so when we all get together in Memphis to put the show on, it's kind of like that extended family feel. Mm-hmm. That's important to me, to partner with people that you have that connection with, where it's like, hey, I want to do this hard lifting work with you. Yeah, it's not just a check and here's our logo. But one thing that I've been really excited to offer our students with this partnership is that immediate hands-on experience. And we talk about that a lot at the college, where it's important when you're going to a trade school to know how to do your trade when you leave. And our staff and faculty are passionate about hands-on. And so often Kevin and you, Jake, get to, experience, kind of training students while we're on site in a very real world situation. It's not in theory. It's like, this needs to be ready to go now. And you're now doing this. So it's
awesome. That's what I love the most. And we're taking that to a new level here this year. Crystal, Jacob Stanifer is actually a senior at Visible Music College, has helped us the past couple of years. He is also an artist himself and a producer. You can search for him on Spotify. He wrote our theme music this year, which is the first in 9 years for We Love Awards. We have exclusive theme music written by a Visible Music College student. So there's that aspect as well. This is a training ground for students entering the music industry in all different corners. There's just so much synergy as part of this, and celebration of music, celebration of artists, the integration of hope, the partnership that is true and multifaceted, and then just the celebration of the entire industry all coming together in this moment. Yeah. I love this time of year. I love it.
I do too. And it's really cool too, because some of our record label artists have been able to open for the live show. And so that has kind of internally become this, I would like to open for the We Love Awards. So that's fun that started. And so anyway, we're just, obviously cool. We keep doing it. It's so fun to do it together.
And then now the fans get the say. So we've done the hard work and the heavy lifting, and now at this point we turn the reins over to all the fans and the listeners, and they are in the driver's seat, which I love.
Yes.
With the Visible side, it was so fun for me to see, just on the tech side, even all the students were running all the tech last year, and to just see that development. Terry Ann, she's on the Diverse City band, and she did a video last year for one of the presentations. So we're seeing that training go up through and make it back into the We Love Awards. And like Crystal was saying, now we have some of the openers, and I'm excited to share just a little bit. We got to chat with Devin and Hope, who are our openers back in February here. And so we're going to hear just what they have to talk about with Visible and their career.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to watch them almost kind of begin their record label agreement with the record label. The first event out of the gate was the We Love Awards. And over the past year, they have both released their first single as young artists. And we've partnered actually even with a Kevin McNeese recommendation for our lyric videos. And this is definitely like, we're all in doing life together, helping young people create music and also giving them experiences. And so it's been fun to watch Hope and Devin get their footing and go, oh gosh, okay, the next single I do, I want to try this and I want to do this. I mean, you have to start somewhere. And so many artists that they're afraid to begin because they are what if I fail, or what if they don't like me, and all of that stuff. And so there's a huge risk that comes to actually living the life of your dreams. And I'm proud of our students when they really just step out and give it a shot with all that they've got, and they're ready to learn and try again and get better. And so the strength of our partnership, I think, together gives our students this opportunity that is even above and beyond school. They see that the We Love Awards are an opportunity for them and to make connections. And they're always really excited when we have touring musicians on campus. They ask questions, get advice, and it's really just really special to watch that all work out well.
Just to piggyback on that real quick, Chris, so I think one of the things I love too is we are not after polish and perfection. I mean, if you look at your own life, there are people behind you that have believed in you every step of the way. And so much of this industry is polish and prestige and, that perfection that is presented. And I just love that we aren't after that. I mean, not to pat ourselves on the back at all, but really to just offer encouragement to people watching and going, wow, that really can be me. And I really can take this next step. I don't have to take this giant, massive, unattainable leap. So therefore I'm going to stand here and do nothing. I actually can take this little step forward and start and inject hope into my circle and my community. And people will recognize that and see that. And I think all creatives need people behind them, championing them.
I do.
Yeah, I think this does that. So if you're watching and you're listening and you want to be part of that, you can vote, you can invest in these artists, like them on social, connect with them. And I'm excited to hear what you discover. Not
to mention that all the classes are going online at Visible as well. So just everybody that wants that creative and that polish, like what you're talking about, Kevin, can get involved and can take that leap from your living room or wherever. And so that's exciting that it's coming through the online classes as well. So exactly what you're saying, Kevin. If that's you, that you want to start getting involved with this, what a perfect time to do it with everything going virtual.
It really is. I remember about 17, 18 years ago, I went to Spirit West Coast out here in California. I don't know if you two are familiar with that festival, but it was huge out here. And I remember going and I remember sitting there going, I want to do this for a living. Like, I want to put stuff like this on. And it was just like something God had put in me, like this want and this ability. And I remember emailing the guy who ran Spirit West Coast. And I said, hey, I know this is totally crazy, but I want to get involved. How do I do that? And he was like, well, probably go to school for it or something. And Visible Music College actually happened to have a booth at Spirit West Coast. And that very next year when I had gone, I met Visible Music College, and the guy who was running the booth actually became a dear friend later when we moved to Memphis from California. And that's the thing. It was a scary leap to take. It was a risk. Both my husband and I had really great paying jobs, and we just felt called to it. And so for any of you that are out there and you feel like, gosh, I feel like a call to work in the industry, but it doesn't make sense, and I don't know about how I would ever have a job. All three of us are proof that if God calls you to something, he will make a way. That doesn't mean that's not hard work. That doesn't mean that you're going to have an easy breezy path to get there. But if you want to, you can. And Visible is really a great way, again, not to sound too commercially, but I just love where I work and I'm an alumni, where you can go get hands-on, get trained, start getting to work right away. That's so valuable, I think, as we transition into a season where a lot of people are curious about, should I go to college? I don't know about this student loan debt. Do something that's a trade that you can have a job doing something when you're done. So I won't tangent too long on that, but it's just do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid of the what if. Keep trying.
For sure. And So with that, let's hear from Devin and Hope here, who are current students and, like I said, led off the We Loves last year. All right. Continuing on our Together We Love Christian Music Awards episode series here, we've got Devin in house. He is one of our live performers today, so thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your story and why you're here at Visible.
I'm a worship leadership major here at Visible, born and raised in Memphis, 24 years old, extremely passionate about music and about God, and so I wanted to mix the two. And I think Visible was that place. I think that I could come in and hone that to the best way that I could.
On the other side of Visible, once you go through the course, and I'm speaking ignorantly here because I have no idea what the course is. Yeah. I'm assuming a 4-year degree. And what do you kind of see yourself doing after the fact?
Recording.
Yeah,
the dream. It's not too big a dream for me. It's something that I feel like is attainable. That's what I see myself doing. Recording with everything that comes with it, the touring, all that stuff, big stage.
We have the University of Memphis down close. There's a lot of mainstream schools around here. So what drew you into Visible when you started looking at the college? Obviously there's the musicals aspect of it, but what really drew you into Visible and starting down this path specifically here?
So Visible is a very unique school. It also, for me, I needed a shift because I was transferring from University of Memphis, which is an extremely large school. I needed something that was a little bit more focused and close, tight-knit. I feel like I could gain more from that environment. This is something I think Visible was really kind of a blessing in disguise for me because I prayed to God. I was like, God, I wish there was this school that existed in Memphis that offered music teaching, music business teaching, as well as teaching in the faith, biblical studies, things of that nature. But that was so far-fetched for me. I was like, that's in Memphis? Like, that's not even, that'll never happen. Yeah. A year later, I get ready to transfer, and my stepmother is like, hey, you should research Visible Music College. And I was like, huh? All I did was click the link, hit the website. I was like, that's it. That's where I'm going.
Sold. We're actually joined with Hope here. And so you guys are presenting, like you said, here at the Together We Loves tonight.
Yeah.
And we are very excited for that.
Yeah, so are we.
Yeah.
Got to do sound check earlier. We're pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
So you guys are two completely independent artists, different from each other. You guys are trying to scoot apart. I'm kidding. No, they like each other. So talk about kind of coming together for an event like this.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I just spoke for
1,000 minutes. Yeah, so we're both Madison Line Record artists, and I think that me and Devin complement each other very well with our voices. Like, we're both very soulful, and we harmonize really well together. We kind of have that same vibe, and I think that was an easy pick to throw us together for this medley, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I think, for me, I think Hope is just an extreme talent.
Oh, thank you.
And on top of that, of course. And on top of that, her love for God is genuine. And so anyone who I can have in my circle, who I can be threatened by artistically, but I can also be I can kind of grow with them.
Yeah.
That was somebody who I was like, we need to do stuff together.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah.
So I take it you guys push each other.
Yes.
And to
unintentional. Oh, I would say like we won't say anything like that.
Yeah.
There's always that thing. Yeah.
That side look from the other side. And,
like, oh yeah, she killing. Okay, I gotta kill.
Let me step it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll kind of transition over to Hope here. Tell us a little bit about Hope and your story.
Yeah. 28 years old. Started late in college, but that's okay. Married with 2 kids. Got a 6-year-old and a baby. Just had a baby a year ago.
Awesome.
Yeah. Married to an incredible man of God. He's an executive pastor at our church. The father-in-law is the senior pastor, so I'm heavily involved in that aspect of life and heavily involved here.
So what led you down the path to starting a career?
Yeah.
I mean, 28's not that late.
No.
Yeah.
I started singing. I had a mic in my hand when I was like a baby. Like, I've been singing since a child. I can remember being in church and singing the special when I was like 9 years old. So I did start young. I took professional vocal lessons for years. I did more of the performing thing up until about 18, realized it wasn't for me. Did a lot of cool stuff. I got to sing at the Orpheum. I had a lot of experience young age. Then 18, went into the party scene, and et cetera, had a baby, and then came to school.
So talk about your selection with Visible. I'm taking it you're local here.
Yeah, I'm from here.
Yeah, so it's obviously close, but let's walk through kind of your selection and what you've been doing here at Visible.
Yeah, so I'm a worship leader major. I'm a junior, so I got technically 1 year. With worship leader majors, we get a little bit of everything here at the school. We have to take vocal lessons. We have to learn an instrument. We have to take music business. We have to learn about live sound. We're also in like heavy internship of being a worship leader. So we also do that here at the school. We're put on a rotation and like we're like thrown deep into it. So like that's what I do here 4 days out of the week, 5 days, full time for sure.
So when you were looking at pursuing this, what stood out about Visible?
Yeah.
That said, this is how I'm doing this.
First of all, I got married and was not pursuing music whatsoever. My husband knew that was a very big part of my heart that I wanted to do. And so he knew I had actually quit my job. I quit my job. I was working full time, pharmacy technician, and I knew I was supposed to pursue music. And so I just found me a little side job and started looking for gigs. And one day my husband came to me and was like, I found this really cool school, and showed me the website, read about it kind of like Devin did. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Cause I'm in ministry and I'm very passionate about music. And I was like, this is a crazy school. Like this is such a cool school. So it was a no brainer to come here for sure.
So once you get done with, Visible here, once you get your degree and all that, what are your plans? What's kind of your vision moving forward?
So I know for sure, that I'll always be a part of music. I don't know what that will look like, but I know without a doubt, I'll be a part of that. And I know I'll also be a part of ministry. That's a huge heart of mine as well. Very passionate about the inner city ministry alongside my husband. So I don't have like a black and white goal as far as like what I'm going to do, but I know I'm just taking it one day at a time. So definitely music and ministry and however that ties.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this episode of the NRT Now podcast. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And special thanks to Neon Feather for providing our theme music. Make sure to check out newreleasetoday.com and our socials for more great content. See you next episode.